Hello and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today I'm very lucky to be joined by Corey of Bahlr Media. How's it going, Corey?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm good. First of all, thank you so much for being on this podcast. And I'd love to just start this off, Corey, by understanding a little bit more about you and your background and a little bit more about Baller.
Sure. Yeah, I was born and raised in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is in the Pacific Northwest. I have a family, a beautiful spouse, four daughters, cats, all the whole thing. I've been in the advertising industry for almost 20 years. I'm 43 years old. I love what I do. I've done it locally in my area, the DMA of Spokane, Washington, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Sometimes you expand a little bit further than that, but that's where I've thrived and grew my business. We started out basically as a company called CJEP. So my name is Corey Jeppesen. And so I'd spell out the first letter of my first name, SEE, and then Jep. That's how my agency started. And I was just a solopreneur. So I did the creation. I'm a graphic design major from North Idaho College. So I came out of the gates working at agencies as a designer. And then I really enjoyed that. However, I found out through my story, I was like, I love doing the design, but I'm not interested in sitting behind a desk for 30 to $50,000 a year doing logos and graphic design work. And I don't like being a pin. So I just have an entrepreneur's heart. And one day I just decided, okay, I've learned enough in these agencies to know that I could do it myself. I quit with one paycheck to my name and a laptop in my hand and worked at a coffee shops doing freelance design. So all I did was build logos, brands, and websites at that time. And then as I continued to grow my company, I partnered with some various people that were really good at marketing, how to deliver the deliverables that I made. The assets that I was making were I thought they were really good, and I was always growing. And so I never had an idea of what placement meant or putting it out. And so I met some people that discussed that. So it grew my agency. Fast forward 10 years, hired like 10 people, grew the team, great vendors, great subcontractors, became like a force in my community. Now we're a full marketing agent. I wouldn't even say we're marketing. I like to say that when I boils down to it with the experience that I have, I don't design anymore. I don't wield a camera, edit. I am an executive producer and I do place media for my local clients, or I work with companies like you who need content creation. So I feel like the strengths at Baller right now are high end quality content for television and streaming and radio or a digital radio, stuff like that. It just takes one visit to our website to find that, oh, okay, if I got a budget for creative from Boeing or Pepsi, I would feel very confident to go in and do their work, right? But then like companies like Orange, like you guys have, you're buying that media and putting it in places, and those budgets are considerable for placement. So then you come to companies like mine, I'm like, hell yeah, let's work together and make
Yeah.
it work. So that's where I'm at now. I go to shoots, go to on locations to make sure that number one, the client feels valued, taken care of, and most of all, communicated to in a way that they understand. And number two, that the team that I'm working with, that I've put together for that project, feels fulfilled in the content we're creating and that we're showing up, executing what I've written to make sure
Mhm.
it's done the exact correct way to give
Yeah.
to you or
Right.
to place in my local market. So that was like 5 minutes of me talking about the very start of what I've done to where I'm at now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting when you hear a story like that of just humble beginnings, a paycheck and a dream to like moving on to it sounds like you went through every level of like leadership and whatever it takes to be at where you're at now. And I think at your level, that's what a good leader does, right? You are making sure that at some point you're making sure that the people you've hired are as successful as they can be rather than focusing on the in the nitty-gritty of business, right?
And just to understand, I think right now where I'm at in my career as a middle-aged man and going through what you said, like the failures of it all or the learning curves, and you learn the most by failing, and I failed a lot. I never knew what I didn't know, but one thing I have learned about, let's say, the employee side of things, having a team or even a subcontracting team, whatever, doesn't really matter. Whatever team you have on staff to get the job done, whether it be W-2 or 1099. I have found out that some, not everybody is like me. Not everybody is like you. Not everybody is like the person listening to this. And the more that I can learn and be okay with that, the better off I am. And what I mean by that is I oftentimes in my early career would hire an employee thinking they all wanted to be entrepreneurs and have their own company. And it made me very skeptical of them. It made me very fearful and protective of my own company, knowing that there are people within the four walls of my business, knowing that my execution, how I did it. The problem was it was all I knew, because when I worked at an agency, that's all I was doing, learning from them so I could create my own. So I was always thinking everybody was like me. But then again, I've learned through lots of failures and even successes and learning about people is some people dig the 9 to 5. They want to come to work, they want to create, but they want to clock out and go home. And that is their fulfillment in life. And so learning about different people's learning styles, what their goals are, is optimal now. So if someone comes and works for me, or some subcontractor or agency, creative agency I'm going to employ to get a job done, the first thing I'm doing is trying to strengthen the relationship by learning about them so that I can serve them the highest form. So I think that's a huge lesson that I learned. Not everybody's out here trying to do everything, you know?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Everybody's got different motivations. And I think, again, that's what makes a really good leader is understanding people's motivations and then rewarding them almost based on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, or some people just want that work-life balance. And an entrepreneur does, like, that lifestyle does not provide a work-life balance for a considerable amount of
Yeah.
time. There's a lot of like a nose to the grindstone aspect to it. And so, question about the agency. You've said that Bahlr isn't just about deliverables, it's about direction. So how do
Yeah.
you help clients discover what story they're actually trying to tell?
Learning about them because they all know what they want to accomplish. Like we work with a lot of colleges in the area. We work very large companies. And that we were actually work with some international, not like worldwide companies here to get their message across. We've been hired from a company based here, works internationally across the entire globe, and they have a message to give. And I can never possibly learn everything that they learn or know about their company in one onboarding session. However, I can't meet with them every week either. So it's real, I can, but we can meet enough times where I do the work to learn about exactly who they are, what they're about. But not only that, right? I have to deliver a piece of content or a commercial or a video or whatever deliverable you can think of. I've got to deliver it in a way that makes them happy, but also thinking about their demographic. You have to think, being a content creator or a media buyer or an advertising agency guy, like I always try to say, who am I? I'm like that guy from Mad Men, right? What's that guy? What's the character from Mad Men? I don't know. Uh, I always forget when on the spot. But anyways,
John Hamm's character.
John Hamm character, right?
Yeah.
It's my job to be able to please the client, but also please their clients. And sometimes those don't align very well. So it takes a very articulate, thoughtful person, someone full of gratitude, empathy, and understanding. So when I meet the client, it's very important to set reasonable expectations, let them know exactly what we're going to do, why we're going to do it, and why it's important and why it's valuable. For me, it's just before you can even go. I hope I'm not all over the place here, Shiv, but the showing up, shooting, and editing of any piece of content is the easiest part of the job. If you show up winging it, running and gunning it, trying to figure out your message while on set or while on shoot, you've already failed the client, because you'll never, ever accomplish at the highest potential or level of that piece, right? Client should feel incredibly informed, incredibly confident before the shoot day even happens. So if you go shoot for Pepsi, or you go shoot for Boeing, or you shoot for like a huge company, you better have all your pre-production notes, everything in alignment, and they better know exactly what you're coming to shoot, what you're going to deliver, and why it's valuable, and how it aligns with them, and then most importantly, how it aligns with their viewer, their customer. And sometimes executives of companies, they think so much about their view, which is
Mm,
fine. It's completely fine, right? If I go to a client, I'm going to expect that they're just wanting a thing that they want. It's my
mm,
job to educate them to say, okay, number one, it is about what you want, but it's also about your demographic, about your customer and your client and what they want. And so to try to toe that line is tricky with them because you're dealing with human beings at the end of the day. So my
right.
job as the advertiser, as the executive producer, is to make sure everybody is comfortable, happy, but I'm also not kissing their ass to the point to where they're just getting their way. We're dealing with artwork, we're dealing with art preferences, but at the end of the day, we have a job to accomplish, and that is to grow their company in a way that will actually work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's an interesting line to toe.
yeah,
It's there's a lot of conflicting ideas and opinions and all that stuff. And I think that when it comes to branding and just brand in general, a company that is like laser focused on they've got tunnel vision because they're in their brand, they're in their company all day and they're focusing on these specific KPIs and numbers. So it's very easy, and it's not a bad thing, but it's very easy to lose sight of what your brand is. And that's why there's amazing value that comes in from an agency like yours, because you can be like, hey, I know that you think this is what your brand is, but this is actually what your brand is because this is what people are saying about you. And that's
yeah.
the kind of the tug of war that you pull with or that you have with
But,
clients.
but also, so the key is there is doing it in a way that is loving, understanding is and full of empathy. So not
Exactly.
loving as insensitive, oh, like this. No,
Yeah.
it's you go to a meeting and you say, okay, thank you for hiring us. We're super grateful to be a part of your team. I want you to treat us as somebody that is a part of your team. So I always try to say there's a barrier, right? Which
Yeah.
side are we playing? Are we playing on the baller side, trying to get ours, or has baller now joined the ranks of your company? And that's really what we are. And so
Right.
coming to them and saying, through our work and through what I've discovered, here's what your brand is all about. And here's what people are, here's how they're responding to you currently. Does that, and I'll ask them questions saying, does that response and are these types of people and these goals that are being very successful for you, are those in alignment with the vision and goals that you currently have or want? And that really allows the client to join into the process to say, well, no, I don't want those people, or I don't want to sell that, or I don't want that kind of response. Or they might say,
Right.
yes, that's exactly right. So if they say exactly right, then all you do is pour more gas on the fire. You just be like, yes, let's do it. And let's continue to evolve what it is that we've been doing. Or if they say, no, that's not. So then you not rebrand, but you rebrand aesthetically, right? You say, okay, so what should our message be? And who do you want to attract? And what I have found is the more that a guy like me, a producer or advertiser, advertising professional with a client, listens to them and includes them and builds a solid relationship with them, the more you do become a part of the team and everybody becomes a problem solver. And so then they trust you. When there's trust, you're just a part of the team trying to accomplish a task. When
Right.
there's trust, both in I trust Corey from Baller, but also I see the work that he does and his company does in a way that I could give it to Shiv and be like, hey, I've worked with this company. We are connected and we know what we want. And I know this will work. I'm
Uh,
even bringing you guys in saying, hey guys, here's what we've discussed. We're going to place this on a national budget plus Super Bowl. What do you guys think? What do you think? And then you're going to say, we've seen this work. We've seen that work. We've not seen this work. We've noticed that this really might need some adjusting. Awesome. Thank you. We go back and then we do our pre-production. We align it with their goals, their company, their customers' goals. What I know will work, what you know will work. And we create the piece so that we don't have to continue like failing. Oh, it didn't work. Well, yeah, it's because we didn't do the pre-production work and developing the relationship. Then when it's all done, we can send it to Orange 142 and you guys just place it and it kills.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow. I think the two biggest things I've gotten from this episode is the importance of preparation and the importance of co-creation, co-creating with clients, co-creating with your employees too, to make sure that you guys are on the same page. That's awesome. And you have such an interesting story, Corey. And thank you so much again for being on. Where can people learn more about you and where can people learn more about your agency?
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's been awesome talking about this. I like to open it up a little bit. It's fun. I'm grateful for it. Oh, it's pretty easy to find us at bahlr.com, BAHLR.com. Any good advertising person and agency should have a strong branded foundation, and we do. If you ever need to find us, that's all you could do. And then you can always book a free meeting with me there. And then we're also on like the social media channels under Bahlr Media or Bahlr. We're the only Bahlr. But it's spelled BAHLR. So
Right.
easy to find us.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. And I'll have everything linked in the show notes down below as well. Again, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.